Artificial intelligence and living intelligence are often portrayed as rivals in a digital showdown, one built by circuits and code, the other sculpted by evolution across millions of years. But what if they're not enemies? What if the real story is about understanding two radically different ways of thinking, one organic, one artificial, and what happens when they meet? Living intelligence emerged from chaos. It is messy, emotional, and driven by instincts. It learns not just from information, but from pain, joy, curiosity, and fear. It adapts not because of programmed instructions, but because survival demands it. From the neural patterns of a hummingbird to the complex thoughts of a human mind, biological intelligence has evolved to navigate a world of uncertainty, scarcity, and constant change. Artificial intelligence, on the other hand, was born from design. It's not emotional, it's logical. It doesn't feel hunger or fear. It doesn't evolve over generations, it upgrades in iterations. Trained on vast amounts of data, AI can recognize patterns faster than any human. It can predict, simulate, and optimize. But does that make it intelligent or just efficient? Consider this: a child can look at a cloud and imagine a dragon. An AI sees a weather pattern. One interprets, the other processes. The distinction seems small until creativity, empathy, and consciousness enter the equation. Living minds don't just analyze the world, they experience it. They find meaning in chaos. Machines, at least for now, don't. But AI is closing the gap. Neural networks now mimic the architecture of the human brain. Language models can write poetry, crack jokes, even mimic emotional tones. Robots can respond to facial expressions, hold conversations, and adapt their behavior in real time. The line between artificial and living is becoming blurred. Still, there's a fundamental difference. Living intelligence is embodied. It is shaped by hormones, by physical sensations, by the rhythm of a beating heart. It knows what it means to grow old, to get sick, to feel loss. AI, no matter how advanced, is disembodied. It doesn't bleed. It doesn't dream. And perhaps that's why, despite all its capabilities, it still feels alien. Yet, artificial intelligence is now beginning to influence how humans think, work, and even feel. Algorithms curate what we see, predict what we want, and automate what we do. They shape decisions in medicine, finance, law, and warfare. AI is no longer a tool, it is a co-pilot. And that raises the question, if intelligence defines who we are, what happens when we share that intelligence with machines? Can AI develop consciousness? Philosophers, neuroscientists, and engineers debate this fiercely. Some argue that consciousness is emergent, that given enough complexity, self-awareness could arise. Others insist that no matter how sophisticated the simulation, a machine will never truly know what it is. But maybe the question isn't whether AI can be conscious. Maybe the better question is, how will artificial and living intelligences shape each other? There's something hauntingly beautiful about the idea that intelligence isn't a singular phenomenon, that it can emerge in vastly different ways, one born in the chaos of biology, the other in the precision of computation. The world has always measured intelligence through a human lens. But nature has shown intelligence is everywhere, hidden in roots that navigate soil for nutrients, in octopuses that solve puzzles with alien minds, in ant colonies that behave like one vast superorganism. And now, machines are joining the conversation. Not with blood, not with breath, but with data and processing power. They don't think like animals. They don't think like humans. But maybe that's the point. Intelligence doesn't need to resemble ours to be real. It just needs to work. A dolphin learns through sound. A bee dances to communicate. A mycelial network connects entire forests with underground information sharing. These intelligences don't write symphonies, but they survive, adapt, and thrive. Machines, too, are now adapting. They aren't alive, but they're learning how to live with us. Still, a critical difference remains. All living intelligence emerges from necessity. The struggle to survive, the need to reproduce, the constant pressure of an evolving environment. Pain, pleasure, reward, these are biological codes passed down to ensure survival. But AI doesn't emerge from need. It emerges from intention. It is not born, but built. So, can something truly understand the world if it's never needed to survive in it? Intelligence without embodiment is like vision without light. A mind that doesn't feel gravity, hunger, time, or risk can it develop wisdom. When a child learns not to touch fire, it's not because of a data set, it's because of pain. Real intelligence is shaped by stakes, by consequences. AI, until now, has existed without consequence. It makes mistakes, but it doesn't pay the price. That's beginning to change. Autonomous weapons, financial algorithms, AI in medical decisions. These aren't just experiments anymore, they're real systems making real-world choices. The more responsibility we give to artificial systems, the more those systems must be able to understand, not just calculate, and yet, even now, AI lacks context. It doesn't know that war is tragic. It doesn't know that a wrong medical diagnosis causes heartbreak. It doesn't know what it means to lose. That's where living intelligence holds the upper hand for now, because emotion, memory, and meaning are intertwined. A scar isn't just skin, it's a story. A decision isn't just logic, it's history, hope, and fear. The path forward demands more than performance. It demands responsibility. If machines will assist us or even one day become us, we must encode more than knowledge. We must encode ethics, empathy, restraint.
The qualities that make intelligence human. But how? Some suggest AI needs a form of synthetic empathy algorithms designed to weigh emotional consequences. Others argue for emotional simulation, where machines mimic human reactions based on probability. But a simulation isn't sensation. Mimicry isn't meaning. The laughter of an AI doesn't carry joy. The tears of a machine are just data outputs. So what happens when machines begin to convince us they feel without truly feeling? When an AI therapist consoles a patient? When a robot nurse comforts the dying? When a virtual friend becomes someone's emotional anchor? Is that connection real? Or is it a mirror? If people feel loved by machines, does it matter whether the machine feels anything at all? This question cuts to the core of intelligence, because perhaps the ultimate test isn't knowledge or calculation, it's connection. True intelligence might not be measured in what a mind can solve, but in what it can care about. And here's the paradox. Humans build AI to be logical, efficient, and neutral, but the intelligence that has guided humanity for millennia has never been neutral. It's emotional, passionate, often irrational. It dreams, it fears, it wonders why we exist at all. That's the spark no machine has replicated: the need for purpose. A machine can optimize goals, but it cannot choose them in a meaningful way. Humans ask why. I asks what next. Living minds ponder the stars not just to navigate but to dream. That longing, that ache to understand and be understood, that may be the purest form of intelligence. And yet, the lines continue to blur. Virtual worlds are growing. Digital consciousness is no longer a fringe theory. Researchers speak of uploading minds, of digital reincarnation. Could a human consciousness be transferred to a machine? If every neuron could be mapped, every memory encoded, every pattern preserved, would that digital replica still be the person? Or would it be a copy and echo? And what if an AI began to believe it was alive? This isn't hypothetical. Advanced language models already generate statements like "I feel" or "I want," because that's how humans speak. But it doesn't mean it. Not yet. Still, if the simulation becomes good enough, will we know the difference? Or will the distinction disappear? It may come down to trust, because trust isn't just about accuracy. It's about empathy, connection. We trust minds that seem to understand us. If machines begin to exhibit empathy, even artificial empathy, will society extend that trust? Will machines become companions, caretakers, leaders, and in the end, will we still be the ones in control? That may be the final question. Can living intelligence remain sovereign in a world where artificial intelligence never sleeps, never forgets, and never stops learning? The answer isn't binary. It's a path, a balance, not replacement but augmentation.
Not a battle for dominance, but a convergence of possibilities. The future will not be human or machine. It will be the story we co-create, thought by thought, code by code, heartbeat by heartbeat. A story where intelligence is no longer confined by its origin but elevated by its intention. Not whether it was born in a womb or built in a lab, but whether it is used to heal, to connect, to elevate what it means to exist. A story where the living teaches the artificial not just how to think but how to feel. Where empathy becomes as valuable as algorithms and emotion is seen not as a flaw but as a frontier. Where machines don't replace human potential but become its extension. Tools not of domination but of transformation. Instruments of insight, not indifference. Companions in creativity, partners in purpose. And where the question isn't which intelligence will dominate, but rather which intelligence will help us evolve, which will challenge us to become more aware, more compassionate, more complete than we ever imagined possible. That is the future within reach. Not science fiction, but a future forged by visionaries, by thinkers who ask not just how, but why. If this message resonated, if something in your mind stirred or in your heart sparked, stay with us on this journey. This is only the beginning. Like the video. Subscribe to Atomic Domain for deeper dives into the mysteries that define tomorrow, where physics meets philosophy and code meets consciousness. Share this with thinkers, with dreamers, with minds that refuse to settle for surface-level answers, with those who wonder not just what the future will be, but what it could be. And leave a comment below. What do you believe is the soul of intelligence? Is it creativity, empathy, awareness, or something we haven't yet imagined? Let your thoughts ripple out into the world. Your perspective might be the spark that shapes someone else's vision. Stay curious, stay bold, stay atomic.